So today I'm going to plant out my fall garden, what we've started maybe a little over a month ago, and then we're going to start some more. So keeping that succession planting going, always having something growing. We have a bunch of different types of plants, so I'm going to just plant them in a space, any space that I find. I don't have a specific plan of where to put all these, but we're just going to refresh the soil, plant, keep going, cover some of the brassicas because the bugs are still pretty crazy right now in September in Florida, Central Florida. The only thing that really got damaged on the hurricane was my door from the garden. Other than that, everything else is pretty intact. So gotta redo all the hosing, connecting all the hoses. We gotta do that. We have a bunch of grow bags that I can plant. I'm going to be using this section here and putting raised beds this way. So I bought one already. Still have to build that one, but I guess for now, with everything that we're building, with everything that we're growing ready to go out, we can go ahead and plant them in the bags for now. The soil, I definitely refresh all my containers with some soil I bought from the store and top it off with some compost. These grow bags have good soil in them from last year. They have a good organic matter in them, so I'm just making it better. Go ahead when I plant my tomatoes, make sure I bury them deep, cutting any leaves that would hit the soil, cutting them off, knowing that the deeper the better when you replant tomatoes. With my lettuce, I am planting in where my peppers were, so I am pulling out all my peppers, and in here you can see me cutting just the tops off, leaving the roots, which is good for the soil. I'm not really pulling anything out, not disturbing the soil at all, doing like a no-dig type of thing. So I just harvest what I can, cut the tops off, and put some, here I'm putting some dirt and some compost on top, and then planting the lettuce, and then doing my own hoops. So I'm going to make my own hoops. I measured this out on top of the galvanized and the 100-gallon. And so after I measured it out, I cut it, I sized it up, and now I'm going to just cut a couple of these so I can place the netting, insect netting around it. Because obviously seeing all the damage done to my pumpkins, hopefully I can spare my brassicas, even if it's a little. So I bought this roll of wire from Lowe's for about 40-something bucks. So I think that's a pretty good deal, wherein I can get a lot of these hoops made for any section of the garden, either it's a container or in the ground. So this is what I'll be doing today to hopefully save my plants from getting eaten by bugs. So this is an electric cutoff tool that I'm using, and this is pretty much the only way to cut this wire because it's 9 gauge. And so you see, cut it really well. And I got my hoops. So I cut 3 of them, and I cut some of this insect netting. Now I'm gonna just kind of put this into the dirt and hopefully cover a good amount of the lettuce that I have planted in here. These clam sets. I'm doing the same with the 100-gallon. Well, I put the hoops on just like I did the galvanized container, and I cut around the insect netting and clip it on the sides. So in the 100-gallon I have some broccoli, cauliflower, and Brussels sprouts. We'll see if these hold up. But for now, these will do. I didn't get to do soil blocks today, so tomorrow I'm going to do some soil blocks, finish those tomatoes, and putting that landscape fabric down. So it's a busy day on the homestead, as always. Have so much to do with little time. I'm glad it's Saturday, so I have another whole day before I go to work Monday. But it definitely needs to be done. More planting needs to be done. I want to grow as much food as possible. I have that tarp that has been on the floor for on the ground for about a month already, or 2, I'm not sure exactly. And I can't wait to prep that, because I'm just gonna keep sowing more seeds knowing that we're gonna be growing in that space. So now that I can kind of make my DIY hoops, I'm just gonna keep doing that and see how that works. So September in Florida is really hot. I'm just getting slammed with caterpillars and worms eating everything. All my pumpkins are completely destroyed, so I just want to make sure that this netting that I put up, insect netting, will help. I will make bigger hoops later when they start growing big and tall. My Brussels sprouts, when they grow big and tall, so that's later. But for now, it's gonna have to do, and I can just keep on succession planting, making sure that if all this fails, I have another plant to replace it. And that's what I'm gonna do tomorrow, seed start some more. So fall's in full swing. I can't wait for October. I will see what I have to plan out there. Maybe do more onions, and I have already garlic in my refrigerator, and I'm actually videotaping that process. So I'm excited to grow garlic in Florida. For the fall garden, I'm definitely growing a lot of broccoli, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, lettuce. I'm growing some tomatoes. Here in Florida, we can grow tomatoes. I have about 25 tomatoes. Hopefully these tomatoes do well. I'm gonna stake them up, put some stakes in the middle of each pot, and hopefully that will support them. I don't want to do tomato cages this year just because I did last year and it worked well, but I'm gonna try something new. It's always good to experiment in the garden, just do different things and see how it works. Here in Florida, it's just so hot. It's September and it's still like 80s. Sometimes 90s, but it is cooling down into the 80s, and the mornings it's around 65, so I'm just glad for that. I still have some more to do, more planting to do today. Just gonna put some of my cucumbers out, and that's it. I just keep going. Hopefully if things fail, I can put another plant back in and just keep moving that way. Fall, I'm determined to grow as much food as I can this fall. Working full-time, but having my husband here helps. But I'm just gonna keep planting as much as I can. Just keep going. That's all I can. That's my motto this fall, is keep going, keep planting. I think that's it. That's all I'm growing for now. I have a lot of seed starts still inside. I have my onions inside there, and a lot of bok choy, different types of bok choy, and some marigolds and flowers. So I'm gonna finish up here in the garden, and then go inside and do some work inside. Have to clean my house and do things inside. It gets so hot outside to the point where I just gotta stop and just call it a day, just because it's so hot outside. Now that I found a kind of DIY way to do little hoops, we'll see if those hoops work, and I can do that in the big section in the front of my house when I plant even more food. So I can't wait for that. But I just want to thank everybody for seeing this video. If you haven't subscribed, please do. And I hope everybody is getting ready for fall, all the gardening that can happen. I'll see you guys in the next one. Stay well, friends.